Welcome to our August 2022 edition of Policy Radar. Here we will share some of the latest changes in politics and public policy in Japan. Please subscribe to our mailing list through the link in the description for more in-depth coverage. Now, on to the video. Japan Defense Ministry requests record 5.59 trillion yen for FY 2023. Fiscal 2023, which begins next April, is still some time away. The Japanese ministry are set to finish submitting their budget request for the next fiscal year by August 31. Last year's budget request totaled 111 trillion yen, $800.9 billion at current exchange rate. The budget requests this year are once again expected to surpass 110 trillion yen, with some military calling for record high shares of total spending. Among these is the Defense Ministry. Defense spending has always been a controversial issue in Japan. The Japanese public has historically been averse to increasing military spending, and Japan's neighbors, such as China, often warn about Japanese militarization every time a lawmaker pushes for a bigger defense budget. However, confronted with growing security risk fueled by Russian invasion of Ukraine and more hardline Chinese behavior, including the recent launching of rockets that landed in Japan's exclusive economic zone, Japan's desire for expanding security capabilities is back on the political agenda. Record 31 yen minimum wage hike. A labor ministry panel proposed a 31 yen increase on the national hourly minimum wage. The proposal, a 3.3% increase, exceeds the record 28 yen minimum wage hike in 2021. The proposal came after several discussions between management and labor representatives on the panel, who agreed on increasing the minimum wage but were divided on how much it should raise. The two sides reached an agreement in August, but management still notes that soaring import costs and a weaker yen will place an unfair burden on small and medium-sized enterprises who will bear the brunt of a higher minimum wage. A February survey conducted by the Japan Chamber of Commerce and Industry found that 41.7% of all companies surveyed believe the minimum wage should be raised, yet 65.4% believe that current minimum wage is a burden on their business. If the 31 yen wage hike is enacted, the hourly minimum wage will rise from the current 930 yen to 961. The government aims to raise the minimum wage to 1,000 yen per hour as soon as possible. Government boosts startup support with new cabinet post. Japan has seen a surge in new startups, but still lacks other peer countries. Startups are key to bottling Japan's weakened economy, and venture capitalists have recently invested more into the country's promising new businesses. This growing investment happened mainly because of policies that aimed to strengthen the startup ecosystem created during the Abe administration and continues during the current Kishida administration. The Kishida cabinet recently created a new startup ministry position, which was handed to Daishiro Yamagiwa, who also serves as Economic Revitalization Minister. In 2013, Japan-based startups raised to 87 billion yen, and that figure jumped to 780 billion yen in fiscal 2021. The cities of Hamamatsu, Fukuoka, and Sendai have all gained two reputations as startup hubs in providing their economics and attracting entrepreneurs. The national government plans to increase startup procurement, which, according to Takaaki Umezawa, chairman of the Japan branch of the Cambridge Innovation Center, provides big opportunities for startups to later expand their business into the private sector. The government is also strengthening relations with overseas VC firms. Japan's VC businesses lack funds to invest in startups, so foreign firms could help fund new startups. Economic security law comes into effect. Part of a new Japanese security law came into effect this August amid heightened geopolitical tensions. The new policy was created to secure a stable supply of important products, including semiconductors, to enable the development of crucial technologies. The more urgent part of the law came into effect in May. as China's growing influence intensified competition in the high technology field. There are two main elements to the new policy: reinforcing supply chains to secure the procurement of vital products and facilitating the development of AI and other security technologies through public-private cooperation. The part that will come into effect next year will regulate infrastructure screening and the technology blueprints from public distribution. The government also launched an office to promote Japan's economic security. The new office will prepare basic guidelines on developing resilient supply chains and public-private cooperation. Japan to offer tax break to defense contractors who strengthen cybersecurity. Japanese officials aim to propose legislation in 2023 that will offer tax incentives to defense contractors with the goal of better protecting sensitive information from state-backed hackers. Thousands of companies of all sizes could qualify for the tax break as long as they adopt effective antivirus software, two-step authorization, and other virtual safeguards. The number of cyber attacks grew 8.5 times between 2015 and 2020, according to the National Institute of Information and Communications Technology. Defense contractors were among those targeted. Japan's 2021 cybersecurity strategy presumes that China, Russia, and North Korea are involved in the cyber attacks. Japanese officials are particularly concerned that leaked blueprints and other data could compromise national security. The new cybersecurity legislation will also ensure that highly advanced defense technologies are not sold to foreign buyers. The defense sector accounts for less than 3% of contractors' total revenue, so the Japanese government plans to promote the industry with this tax break to help strengthen national security. Health Ministry proposes task sharing to address healthcare labor shortage. Japan is preparing for a major healthcare labor shortage, introducing a system that will allow doctors, nurses, and pharmacists to perform tasks across their trained specialties. The Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare will specify in its 2022 white paper task-sharing reforms are necessary to optimize the use of trained medical professionals in Japan. Currently, the professional boundaries of physicians, nurses, and pharmacists are defined by the Medical Practitioners Act and other legislation. To work as a doctor, physicians must pass a national examination, and those without the medical license, such as nurses, are barred from performing certain treatments. The strict rules are designed to make sure certain procedures are only performed by highly trained professionals. But this practice can impede patients' welfare because of severe labor shortages. The ministry's white paper assumes that there will be a shortage of nearly 1 million healthcare workers by 2040. Healthcare professionals are already stretched thin, and task sharing was suggested in earlier white papers as a means of reviving the burn on licensed physicians and nurses. That was all for this month. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. For more in-depth analysis and reports, please subscribe to our mailing list through the link in the description.